Beyond and hello everyone, my name is Jonathon Dornbush. I am joined by Barrett, Courtney.
Beyond.
For another wonderful Beyondversation.
Oh, stop calling it that.
Say that. Anyway, we are here to talk about the fact that PSX 2018 is not happening this year. There is no PlayStation experience. They've been holding one for the last 4 or so years. They've been sort of a big place for Sony and PlayStation to announce new games, new entries in series that we love, new IP, things like that.
Right.
This year they've decided to not have that. Chairman of Worldwide Studios, Sean Layden, discussed how, they felt with Dreams and Days Gone coming up and things that we already know about, and after Spider-Man, they don't have enough to show to make everyone come together for an experience where they're already pretty familiar with everything.
Right.
So right off the bat, Barrett, I want to know how you feel about them not having a PSX this year.
It bums me out, but it doesn't surprise me. The fact that they didn't even really have a conference last year was pretty telling of, they've announced pretty much their plan, I think, for the rest of the PlayStation 4. So I don't, if they try to do it this year, it would be another show of last year where it's a lot of show floor stuff, which is cool and it brings the PlayStation community together. But if they're not ready to even show stuff on the show floor, I think that's, I totally get it. But it does bum me out. PSX I hold near and dear to my heart because PSX 2015 was the first gaming convention I'd ever been to, so I love PSX very much. So it does bum me out, but again, not surprised.
Yeah, I think it's probably the smartest move they can make because you had PSX 2016 where they announced The Last of Us Part 2.
I was in the room and it was like thunder was going off in the room. It was awesome.
That and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, Uncharted opened the show, Last of Us closed. That is incredible.
Yeah.
And then the next year where it was sort of this looser discussion, they didn't really have news. It was they showed God of War, but it was stuff we largely already knew. And
the stuff that they announced was weird little small stuff that you would see at the pre-E3 stream or whatever. Yeah, it was really interesting tactic.
And so they haven't necessarily said that there will never be a PSX again. That's not the case. But Sean Layden did say they want to really be using the PlayStation blog and their social channels to make more of these announcements. And we've seen that the God of War release date was just a PlayStation blog post randomly.
Right.
The PlayStation Classic was TGS, but it came to most of the world via social, via Twitter.
Exactly.
So I feel like that strategy makes sense for what they have going forward. And we've both kind of talked about the fact we feel we know what the rest of the PlayStation 4 looks like.
Right, exactly. They announced The Last of Us Part 2, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, Spider-Man, God of War, Death Stranding, Days Gone, all kind of within a year of all of those announcements. So I feel like they really pulled out the big guns and showed off what the rest of the PS4 lifecycle was. And so I think the next big announcement is just the PlayStation 5, and we just got to give them a couple of years until they're ready to announce that. And then I think we're going to start getting more announcements of games and whatnot coming in the future.
At the very least, though, we're not without potential for new announcements coming at the end of the year.
Exactly.
We have the Game Awards coming up. Kind of Funny is formerly IGN's Greg Miller has said he is hosting a conference now, essentially the week after the Game Awards.
And I think that's a smart move right there, is to kind of fill the void of it sucks that there's not going to be big announcements this winter or whatever, and they're taking the opportunity to fill the void and do cool sort of indie smaller game announcements for people who like that kind of stuff.
And I think the Game Awards certainly has always been a huge thing. It was so big last year with announcements and new reveals that I think it's going to be even bigger this year.
Right.
And of course we'll probably see something like Death Stranding there, given Kojima and Jeff Keighley's love for each other. But of course, even without PlayStation experience, there is so much more happening in the world of PlayStation every day, every week, all of the time. If you want to know more about what's going on, be sure to tune into beyond.ign.com every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific or youtube.com/IGN Beyond every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific to see new episodes of our weekly PlayStation show,
there you go.
IGN Beyond, which Barrett produces and I'm on a bunch and do silly jokes on. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, and for everything else about PlayStation, you're already in the right place. IGN.
Beyond.
Beyond.